People hollering about our middle class, jobs moving overseas, a growing mountain of government regulations, mandates and rules. Maybe we're not doing as well as we should. They're keenly aware that many of our major competitors are providing their children some of their children, a better education than we are now. And that's why people see, and that's how they see these things, and they feel badly. I see something totally different. By the way, I don't argue with a single one of those facts, but I see something different. I understand that America has a lot of big challenges in front of her. Yes, our competitors are closing in on us from many sides. And yes, we are still shaken by the worst recession since the Great Depression. But I don't see a nation destined to gradually slide into mediocrity. I see a nation that remains resilient, and adaptability is very strong in our country, and a fierce desire to win by some portion of our society. I see a country whose best days are yet to come, and a country whose demographics supports them in going forward. One of the things you ought to look at all the countries across the world that we compete with, and ask yourself a fundamental question. What's their demographic reality? And if you look at a lot of the European, and you take Italy, for example, in 70 years there won't be any more Italians, because of their growth rate. Look at Japan, that had that total tragic tsunami this morning. And by the way, there was a second earthquake behind it, and I haven't heard what happened as a result of that. But they have an economic challenge that's fundamental, and it is a challenge that doesn't allow immigrants, and that has a growing, shrinking population. And in many of the countries that have a demographic challenge, they also have a challenge amongst the newest generation of whether they want to work as hard as their parents and others have done. So I don't see us in a real serious problem. I see us as a great nation with problems that need to be dealt with. And we have, in fact, wandered away from some of the principles of our founding fathers. And in fact, we had to change some things. Our founding fathers didn't have BlackBerries, didn't have the internet. How did they get by? Didn't have any of that stuff. And I don't know how they got there. But they did lay out some fundamental rules of the road, which we have for a long time valued, and that is the rule of our independent liberty, the rule of a law that protects us most of the time, the ethic of hard work, the right to get up and succeed further and better than the guy next door because you outworked him, you outthought him, you out-hustled him, you stayed up later. And at the same time, we're all realistic. Our federal government has grown too large, too expensive, too intrusive, and instead of trying to do a few things very well, they're trying to do too many things. And by that, why? It's not all the government's fault. It's because we have so many of our problems. Oh, something bad happened. Well, we should have a regulation. That'll help. And something really bad happened. Well, then you should subsidize me on that, And some of those issues are very easy to understand. Going back to demographics, when you look at the healthcare challenges in this country, they are demographic challenges. When you look at the retirement challenges in this country, they are demographic challenges. When we put Medicare in this country, the average death age was 62. It's now 79. Who's paying for all those people in between? And these are real, serious issues for all of us.